What is up, RotoGrinders? 90 minutes nonstop NBA DFS conversation starts right now, taking you all the way up the lock. Interesting slate as far as the games are broken down. We have 7 total? Wait, hold on. My math is incorrect. It's 6, right? Yeah, 6 in total. Amongst those 6, wait, hold on a second. This is a terrible start, Bobby. It's a terrible start because it is 6 in total. Yes, 5. 5 start between 5 o'clock and 7:30. And the back end, kind of a doubleheader, is the marquee game, probably the most watchable game on the slate. It's the Warriors taking on the Lakers, star-studded. Curry coming off that monster game, 50, almost a triple-double, very close to getting triple-double as far as rebounds and assists as well. Of course, LeBron and Luka, 2 teams that are actually motivated to play basketball, that are jockeying for position as far as playoffs. We saw yesterday. We talked about it with Kirk Dees. That was the worst slate ever. It might get worse, but I think that was the worst one we've had. Denver ruling out their best 6 players. I think they all had this mystery injuries out of nowhere right after playing 50 minutes. You did never guess it against an inferior team. How are things, Bobby? How are things in the world? Everything good? It's a Fleet Thursday. I know you're excited about that.
Everything's good. I was just listening to sports radio on my way back from my parents' house in
Boston,
and they were basically saying that the 3-pointers ruined the NBA. I almost called up and said, no, the NBA is ruined because these guys don't play any games. That's why that's like the real reason, you know. But they're like the nerds and the analytics, and they're fighting all that stuff. And like,
it's Steph Curry's fault.
It's Steph Curry's fault. Yeah, it's Steph Curry's fault. That's. But they were saying Steph Curry's the outlier, and now all these guys are shooting threes and. Yeah, it's a tough listen, but yeah, just make the guys.
I wish you would have called in.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would have changed their minds.
No, yeah, not a chance.
I mean, who doesn't miss like the ball getting dumped off to the post where the clumsy like 7-foot center who has no skills like does like a post up, bounce, post up, and then misses from 10 feet.
I don't know what they want to see. I don't understand like how they want the game to change. Like if that's what they want, it's not benefited. It's actually like the watchability of it isn't great. Like you're pretty much describing. So I don't understand like what they're trying to get at. What difference do they want to see? I just want to see competitive games, meaning best players playing. Like that's all I care about at the end of the season. Like why are everyone's resting everyone? I know the Celtics are like making sure they're very well rested for the playoffs. I kind of get it because the league allows it, but the league shouldn't allow it. Like people are paying for these tickets. They should be seeing your best team. Just is what it is.
I get it from all the angles.
It's reflecting like the ratings too as well. So,
I mean, I understand why the Jazz are doing what they're doing. I make fun of the Jazz, but I understand why they're doing it. This is the only way this is the only way they can do it. This is the only way they can make it. They're never going to get a star-studded free agent, essentially. Shouldn't say never, but it's never happened before. Where like the best free agents, like I can go anywhere, any team wants me.
Utah probably shouldn't have a basketball team.
Well, Noto's coming on, I think later. You can let him know. I would let Noto know that they should.
Like if you can't draw, then like what's the point? It doesn't make it.
They have a fan base, and like
they can draw a fan base, but they can't draw players, so they're going to be stuck.
Correct.
Like an inevitable loop of never winning unless they have Stockton and Malone. But how long ago was that? It's like a new day and age now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they drafted those guys. And neither one of them were like high draft picks, I don't think. And I think Malone might have been a lottery pick. Stockton might have been too, but neither one was like top 2, I don't believe. But they weren't free agents is the point. Like give me Carlos Boozer, give me the long list of like really, really good free agents that can go anywhere. It's signed in Utah or that's signed in Charlotte. Or that signed in Phoenix.
The league would be better instead of trying to expand to be smaller and allow teams to basically, like it'd be more competitive if more good players were on good teams. Like you see it with baseball, like pitching. There's too many teams. We're running out of pitching. Well, we were last year, right? When everyone was blowing their arm out. So
yeah.
Just making sure like these teams are located to where, they can have I feel like they could just like Utah could root for the Nuggets, right? Why do they need to have the Jazz? Move that team somewhere else. Move to England.
Move to England. I want the Lakers when they go to England, they're going to be exhausted, right? It's a long trip. Yeah. Well, just bad news. There's going to be 2 new teams. It's going to be Vegas and it's going to be Seattle in like 6 years or so. Very likely.
The Supersonics likely could get players, though, right? If they're the Supersonics again,
it's all about, again, when you're the best of the best, and there's a cap, right? It's not like you can outspend. Like Juan Soto went to the Mets in part because they gave him the most money, but there's no team that can offer more money. There's a cap. Like, no matter how good you are, the most underpaid players in the NBA are Joker, LeBron, like this Steph. The best players, they're the most underpaid. Any team would sign them for the salary that they're getting. But and the guys that are making half of them, what they're making, which is still really, really good, are not nearly worth as much. But it's a conversation that's it keeps going, and there's no solution, and it's never going to happen, unfortunately. I will say the talent in the league is better than it's ever been, in part because a lot of people from other countries. There's so many good European players now. Australia, just all over the world. The basketball's never been better as far as the talent pool, and I think there is talent to have another team or two. Some of the best players don't even play. Like 20 years ago, Ty Jerome would have been like an all-star. Now he's just like the 6th or 7th guy in Cleveland. I know that's blasphemous to say.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Anyways, all right, let's do it. Let's talk about the slate. First clue of the way on the Fleet Thursday. Let's go ahead and drop that first clue for the people. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about to get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Bobby's going to play along as well. Today is the day. Today is the day of Bobby. He gets home. He gets there. First clue is scrolling. It is Slick. Slick is the first clue. And you get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all the sports, MMA, PGA, everything with the exception of NASCAR, the optimizers, the articles, the bells, the whistles. Too much stuff to mention. Just jump in the Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. Be the first to tell me what movie. It's not movie. What fleet, what athlete I am talking about. And you get yourself a week free. And now I just realized I forgot to tell producer Steve who my person is. It is a person. I just gave that away. Jeez, I'm making it a lot easier. Anyways, Bobby, how are we feeling about the slate tonight?
It's a good slate, late season NBA, and I'm pretty much trying to figure out which Portland Trailblazer I'm going to play. That's where we're at. That's like a quick description.
You love that. You love Denny Avdia. I know he's
one
of your
72
guys.
The other night, Dean. Did you see him? 72. Speaking about, is he European? Is Avdia European?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's.
That's the global talent pool that's increased because it's a global game. Denny can play, man.
Yeah.
Currently my highest owned guy. I would imagine a lot of other people have him tonight though too.
He's been coming on pretty strong of late as well. A little tricky with Portland. I feel like they should not be playing him the amount of minutes they're playing him because Portland is 33 and 43, right there with Chicago, right there with San Antonio. They should be jockeying. But speaking of another team, Portland, go ahead, give me the long list of free agents that have signed in Portland that were elite. I don't think
move the Trailblazers.
You want to move your solution is just to have 8 teams. New York.
I think
Chicago,
the league would be better.
Miami.
I think the league would be better, yeah.
I mean, it would be amazing, but also be missing out on a lot of good players. And I guess they would play in a different league. How about have a separate league, 16 teams and 16 teams?
Move
and then
the
you have
Trailblazers to China. Move them to China.
No, don't move them to China. Relegation. 16 teams, and have relegation. Come on. How amazing would that be?
Really make this a global game with the technology we have these days,
yeah.
Dean.
There's rumors out there that somebody else is going to, how golf started up Live? There's rumors out there that somebody's going to start doing basketball
or some stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
they should there should be a competing league. Eventually it's going to happen, right?
A real one, one that can actually compete, that actually has money to compete and pay.
The Saudis were interested in the Celtics, I heard originally. I
Yeah.
really thought that was the case. That's why the asking price was so high for the Celtics.
Well, I think they also wanted to sell. They wanted the team to sell $1 more than Washington, the football team, which it sold for. It was the most expensive sale of all time, and just barely is more expensive than the Commanders, which I don't think was a coincidence. They wanted that. They want to be able to say that. Yeah, you mentioned Portland. Portland taking on Toronto. Some key pieces as far as the slate, questionable stuff. These are Toronto, of course, a full-on tanking team. They didn't play yesterday, but that doesn't mean that Jakob Poeltl doesn't need rest. He's got to rest from resting. And then Emmanuel Quickly, of course, he's the most exhausted man in basketball. He's got to rest too. And then Scotty Barnes, who hasn't actually been resting, he should get the rest. We'll see. He's questionable. He's got a hand. We'll see. That's a 7:30 game, so maybe we don't know that. Maybe we can know that at 7 o'clock. Well, maybe Toronto can at least give us the information. Jeremy Grant, by the way, speaking of resting, that guy's been questionable, doubtful, for a month now, and I don't think we haven't seen him play at least a month. And they keep giving questionable tags or doubtful tags. He ain't playing. Spoiler alert. Anthony Simons is questionable, which is important on Portland because that would really solidify, really open things up there for the Blazers. I did go ahead and drop that in chat for the people. I can drop it again if you missed it. If you're just joining us, as you're hitting the like button and subscribe and turn on those notifications, what you got to do is you got to open up this link that tells you our current. Well, no, I'm dropping in the NBA injury report for some reason. We actually have a RotoGrinders sheet that makes it much easier. Duncan Robinson, by the way, is questionable for the Heat. Other pieces that are of note, well, Washington accidentally won last night. I don't know if you saw that. They beat the Kings. The Kings are so down bad. They're trying to win, actively trying to win to get the 10 seed. The Wizards dying to lose. Can't lose because the Kings are so bad. I did live bet the Kings, though. We got there. That's all that matters. We had a bunch of points because they were way down. They benched Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole didn't, because they're trying to lose. And it's just the Kings would not cooperate because they're horrendous.
Maybe Jordan Poole's trying to win.
Say it again.
Maybe the Wizards as an organization actively want to lose, but Jordan Poole wants to win.
Well, he's in it for Jordan Poole, yeah. But that's why they benched him. They wouldn't let him play. And it's still, the Kings are so bad. They could not beat whatever's left of the Wizards. And we'll talk about them in a second.
Jordan Poole, 3.5 weeks ago, hit a buzzer beater versus Denver. That cost me a ton of money. I just needed overtime.
Oh, that's the worst. It's not the worst. Overtime is 25 fantasy points.
Yeah. No, but I was there. I was the only one with Denver and Washington stack. Yeah, I was there. So I was in a good spot. And he just banged it from 65 out.
Giannis, by the way, officially in with his foot. I think one of the best big spends on the slate. We'll talk about him in a second. AJ Green is finally good to go for Milwaukee. He's also is officially available with his shoulder. Duncan Robinson for Miami. We did get the update on him. He is good to go. So Robinson is in. Yeah. Anything we should say as far as the slate on the whole? You mentioned talking about the Blazers. Anthony Simons is questionable. We deal with if-then set up for that. Yabusele is questionable unless that has changed. I don't think it has. Scotty Barnes, if he's out, it might probably Jamal Shed. I think Shed will all of a sudden be unleashed. Walter already looks pretty good. Battle looks like a potential cheapie, as does Orlando Robinson. It's gross out there, but then that's the way it's been for Toronto for a while for most games. And again, we're keeping an eye on Anthony Simons. If he's out, Delano Banton would probably get unleashed once again. So lots of stuff to keep an eye on. Anything else you want to note before we fully dive in and talk about the slate?
Yeah, like you said, Simons is probably the biggest news. Then Barnes, guys like Shed, Walter, Orlando Robinson would become interesting, and obviously RJ Barrett. If Yabu's out for the 76ers, maybe some Adam Bona.
Yeah.
Why you don't like Bona?
No. I mean, he's already projected to start.
Yeah.
Along Yabusele, we have projected to start the 4. But yeah, I think Bona would be pretty solidified. It's an interesting conversation because it's like Bona versus Klingon versus Zach Edey as far as the 5K center. There's other guys you can bring that conversation. I guess Orlando Robinson as well, so you can kind of bring in. But
I think I might like Lonnie Walker the most from the 76ers. 4,700. Yeah, Lonnie's a scorer. He's a professional scorer, Dean. Lonnie Walker.
Hey, Yeah, if you had your druthers, he'd be playing in China. There's not if there was like 5 less teams, he would not be playing basketball.
He would not be in the league. Yeah.
He needs those 30 teams.
Yeah, he needs the 30. Yeah, that's
Orlando.
pretty much it. Giannis is probably the biggest spend. Would be like you said at the top. He'd probably be my big top spend on the slate for sure.
I'm jumping into the live stream chat. I wanted to see if anybody answered today's athlete correctly. Oil Can Boyd is a spectacular guess. It is not.
He coached my AAU team for a day.
For one day, and then he said, "These guys stink. I got to go on."
No, we were good. We were good. He was
a guest coach.
Yeah, he came down because the inner city team, and he was like he just came down and yeah, he was an interesting person. I'll say that. For sure.
Pitcher for Boston, if you guys aren't aware of, back in the day.
Yeah.
Dennis Oil Can Boyd. But yeah, the first clue was Slick. We'll go ahead and drop the second clue because nobody's getting there on Slick. Shaky is the second clue. Shaky and Slick. Tell me what athlete I am talking about. Okay, let's do it. It's the first game. It's Orlando taking on the Wiz, 212. Not a very high total. And of course, Washington is a monster dog here. Playing the back half of a back-to-back. They are home. 15-point dogs here versus the Magic. The Magic, play slow. One of the worst offenses in basketball. But the up-pace game against Washington should help them out, at least for one night. No Mo Wagner, of course. No Suggs. Otherwise, they've been the same for a while. We haven't seen those dudes. Gill is questionable for the Wizards. No Middleton. We might not see him the rest of the year. No Koulibaly. No Keyshawn George. No Brogdon. No Jordan Poole. They don't even want to give Jordan Poole a chance to start this game. God forbid he makes a couple threes or something like that and the game's close. So he's not even allowed to play basketball this evening. They're down to 10, possibly 9 if they lose Gill. Gill is questionable. Not a great matchup. And some of the prices are coming up a little bit. But guys like Carrington and Johnson should get some run. Vukcevic, one of these days, and he's a good fantasy point player. Got into it last night, by the way, with Malik Monk. They almost they got double text. I thought it was going to even escalate even more, but they were both yapping at each other.
Malik wouldn't have liked how that would have worked out, by the way.
Vukcevic is a big boy.
He's 7 feet tall, yeah, and he's athletic.
Yeah, I don't know how it would have been interesting if nothing else, but it almost got there.
He would have got ragdolled.
Magic, your guy Wagner, Banchero, both look really, really good. I guess I should throw Wendell Carter into the conversation. This slate is it's small, right? But there's a bunch of players around 5K or so at center that, an interesting power ranking conversation we could have maybe at some point. Wendell Carter is one of them, I suppose. It's not terribly sexy, but the matchup versus Washington is fine. Magic, Wizards. I know you like some Franz Wagner. Do we like him tonight?
I think I prefer Banchero to Franz currently. I like Alexander Sarr on the Washington side, but I think Vukcevic for 4,400. Take the 2K discount from the 65, and I think I'd prefer getting to Vukcevic. Guys like Carlton Carrington on Washington for the price tags. On the Magic, it's mainly Banchero, Wendell Carter, and I guess obviously you can go Franz.
Just pulling up the ownership stuff we have right now as far as Orlando and Washington. Most popular player in this game currently is Carrington, Bub Carrington. 35 minutes we're giving him. Again, the absence of Poole, possibly 9 or 10 players. They tend to give him a fair bit of run. The matchup's not great. The prices come up a bit, but he seems like he'll be fine. You mentioned Banchero at 20%, Wagner at 16. I like both.
Ownership at? Sorry.
Which one, Carrington?
Yeah.
Carrington coming in at 21%. Should I give it a refresh? You think that's wrong? Has that been updated?
No. I'm getting him significantly under the field. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's still 21%. Banchero 20. Johnson's fine at 20%. I'm okay with that. Don't love the matchup, but the minutes should be there. We're giving him 35. Vukcevic at 11%. No Rashawn Holmes, which I guess matters to some degree. They've kind of jerked his minutes around, but they kind of, I don't want to say have to play him, but I expect they play him at least 20 minutes, especially if Gill is out. That's one less big. And, like Sar obviously is the other big they have, but if this game gets goofy, it would be Vukcevic for sure closing if it's a 20-point lead or something like that. But 10-11% ownership, I thought it'd be lower than that, to be honest, just because his minutes are a little bit less solidified than some of the other guys we're going to talk about. Anything else of note as far as Orlando and Washington? There's 2 7:00 games. This is the first one.
Yeah, I like Vukcevic. I know you're worried about the minutes, but this game's 15-point spread. You're removing Rashawn Holmes. Vukcevic would probably be my favorite. And then on the Magic, Banchero. I think it's just a really good spot for him, obviously. Franz lit them up too the last time. Like, they're both in really good spots. I worry about the minutes getting, like, pulled back for a blowout. So I'd probably just max one if I'm playing either of them. But this game did stay close the last time they played, or did for a little bit, and they both kind of got there. I would lean Banchero, yeah, if I was picking between the two. That's pretty much all I got for this game.
Bucks, Sixers, 228.5 is the total. Milwaukee, again, another scheduled blowout. Philadelphia, 12-point dogs here. They finally ruled out Maxey for the season, like the worst kept secret. Like, I don't know what they were doing. They were late in everything. We knew all these guys were not going to play, but whatever. Maxey's now done for the season. He's got that finger. No Maxey, no Drummond, no Paul George. There's a whole litany of lists. The only one we're waiting for is Yabusele. Currently projecting him to start. I know we have an if-then set up for him. If he does not start, we are, I guess the biggest boost will be, you mentioned Bona. Yeah, Bona would have about a 30-minute projection and, 29 DK points. Is Colin Castleton available to play, and is he in the pool? They signed him away from Toronto. He had those 10 days in Toronto, and he did enough that Philadelphia is like, yes, we need this guy a part of our future. Colin Castleton. I don't think he's in the player pool, though. Yeah. All right. So just cross him off the list if he was on your list. He would probably get some run if Yabusele does not play. You mentioned Walker. Walker projected around 28 minutes or so. Grimes, we know the deal with him. It's just the usage has been amazing. The price is just exorbitant at this point. But certainly, like he's shown that he has a ceiling. That's definitely been flashed before. As far as Milwaukee, no Portis. Green is available. Giannis good to go. And, of course, Lillard probably out for the season, at least the regular season. We'll see as far as the playoffs. Probably out for the playoffs as well. Bummer for the Bucks. Giannis has a big spend. We're coming in at, 27% or so as far as ownership. Rollins running that point at 26%. The price is not fully adjusted, I don't think. And if you're not playing Rollins, maybe play some KPJ. Because KPJ, you talk about the Lonnie Walker. KPJ can kind of do the same thing. They come in and just sort of take a bunch of shots, distribute the ball. Philadelphia, worst rebounding team in basketball. So, that's of note. Percentage-wise, I think the entire season as far as rebounding percentage. And, one of the worst defenses, of course, as well. So, I don't know. Yabusele doesn't matter. Nobody's going to slow down Giannis. Giannis is going to do whatever he wants to do. And they're still playing for stuff. They're still jockeying for position. If this game somehow stays tight, probably get 35 minutes out of Giannis, and I'll take 35 minutes of Giannis versus Philly all day long and just deal with the results. If we get it, where are you at as far as the Bucks and the Sixers?
Giannis is easily my favorite play, like you said. If we do get the minutes from Giannis, he's probably going to get there, so I'm totally fine getting significantly overweight on Giannis. I currently have like 85% Giannis. From there, on the Sixers side, I do like Lonnie Walker. They're just going to need scorers for this game to stay close. So, I like Lonnie Walker. That's what he provides. Jared Butler is another one that I have interest in. Think he's interesting. Both guards, pretty much. And then, Adam Bona, who I think Adam Bona is going to be pretty chalky. Or we have him. Didn't we have him pretty chalky?
If Yabusele is out, I think he would become more popular.
Yeah, he's going to become more popular. I like Adam Bona.
15% now.
On the Bucks side, it's really just Giannis, maybe some Brook Lopez. That's really about it. You can play Kyle Kuzma. Someone mentioned it, Kyle Kuzma night.
Yeah, he's fine. He stinks, but this is the kind of team he was good against.
Yeah, this is a team he could do well against. So, yeah. Butler and Edwards are priced too high. said Ray in chat.
If there's
I want this game to stay close. Like if it's correlated, and if I'm getting over on Giannis, and I want Giannis to get there, I need someone to score. So
if we have 12 teams in the league, Kuzma's kicked, or 16. I don't know how many you want. He's kicked out of the league. He's going to China as well. I don't know how many teams in the league have to exist for Kuzma to still have a job in the NBA, assuming he doesn't have a big time contract, which I believe he still does.
Everyone in the NBA has a big time contract, Ian.
Well, not Colin Castleton.
For now, he'll end up getting stuff. Didn't the Lakers, like Kelly Olynyk got $72 million in his first deal. So
it's good to be tall.
It's good to be tall.
Obviously,
yeah.
I mean, obviously the guys they're amazing athletes, and and there's a work ethic and all that, but yeah, it certainly helps. It certainly helps to as a little perk to, but good for them. Get your money. All right, Milwaukee, Philly. We're moving on. Let's talk about the 7:30 games. The aforementioned Blazers. By the way, news: Scotty Barnes. He's got a hand, and he's going to play with it. He's available. He's good to go tonight. Anthony Gill also available for Washington. So Washington still with 10 live bodies. And Barnes is good to go. So we get that news right as we're going to talk about the Raptors. 224 is the total. They're 5-point dogs here at home versus the Blazers. Still no news on Anthony Simons, which is important. Simons is officially questionable. What is his body parts? They give a right forearm contusion. Okay. All right. Forearm contusion. He's questionable. Jeremy Grant's doubtful. Almost definitely going to be out. Of course, DeAndre Ayton. Never going to see him again, I don't think. Scotty Barnes officially in for Toronto. Toronto, no Dick. Grady's out. Pirtle's got a rest. IQ, no quickly. He's got a rest. Jared Rhoden is officially questionable as well. Brandon Ingram. This is the things you do when nobody signs with you. The Raptors signed Brandon Ingram to a long-term deal, and he's yet to play a game for them. All right. They have so much money committed to their future, and their future is like destined to be the 10th seed in the East. It's very, very strange strategy up there in Toronto, but good luck. TJ will be coming on later and probably shots fired at the Raptors for no particular reason, but I don't like what they're doing. All right. What are your thoughts? Blazers and the Raptors.
Still on Denny. I like Denny. He's probably close to my favorite play. Shaedon Sharp, I like a good bit. Donovan Clingan. I think these guys make sense. On the Raptor side, Walter Mogbo. I'm fine getting to those guys. Orlando Robinson. Just kind of looking through. You said Barnes is going to play.
Is he going to play like that where it matters though, or just enough?
I don't have any interest in Barnes.
Rhoden is in, by the way, just for what it's worth for Toronto. That was just Jared Rhoden available. He's got a hand as well. He has two. One was in question. He's good to go. He's going to play tonight. At least he's available to play. Jared Rhoden, that is.
I think Jamal Sheed is fine. Trying to think through. Who else?
Yeah, Chad would have been the biggest benefactor if Barnes happens to sit, but he's not.
Chad would be correct.
Yeah, he would have been, but that's we'll throw that away. Right now we have 26 minutes going his way, which he's playable. He's getting 22% ownership. Walter is one of the more popular cheapies in the slate. We're giving him 30 minutes. If we happen to lose Simons, is Banton kind of a lock button for you? 4-3 on DK?
At that price tag? Yeah, I would say so. Close to it. What about for you? Where are you at with Banton?
Yeah, I probably do. Probably lock him in, assuming he starts. I would assume he starts. We're giving him 29 minutes if we happen to lose Simons, who seems highly questionable, and about a 30-point projection. It's a median projection on both FanDuel and DraftKings. So it feels pretty strong. I think his FanDuel price is a little bit more where it's not a lock. We just confirmed that. He's 5.7 on FanDuel, where he's just like a fine play if he's not something you have to force at all. Okay, but DK
does removing Podol make Klingon just be able to have a very high ceiling in this game?
Yeah, Toronto, their rebounding ability significantly takes a hit. Klingon obviously is a spectacular rebounder. His thing is just like his minutes are sort of up and down. He gets in foul trouble sometimes. It's just if you look at his game log, not to be that guy, but 29 minutes, 33, 18, 32, 19. It's just all over the place, wildly inconsistent. Or maybe to start the year, they weren't giving him a bunch of minutes. Now they can give him up to 30 if the situation calls for it, if it makes sense. But he's just not a good scorer. He can hit a three, he has the ability to three as a big, but he's not like that's not his game, which is at least nice to know it's something he potentially could do. But, the offense isn't going through him in any way. But yeah, rebounding, he can grab like 15 boards.
Yeah. Does Mogbo still have viability with Barnes out?
Well, Barnes is in.
Barnes in, I'm sorry. Not
so We're giving him 24 minutes. He's fine, I guess, as a flyer, but not something he's a 10%er.
Yeah.
He's not something that I would prioritize. And he could fall into more stuff, and he could have like a good stock game. He's another like banger inside, but not somebody I feel like I have to go out of my way for. And if I'm running 150, sure, I'll get a taste. Why not? But, and there's volatility with the minutes at this point. Like I was writing in the survey today, the projection team, they do an awesome job. But this time of year is just tough. It's much, much tougher. And there's more variance. There's more volatility. So I'm more willing to play things that are like bad math plays, just because this is when goofy things are happening, more so than they were happening 2 months ago, especially for teams like Toronto. I would never get goofy enough where Chris Boucher plays. But
someone had mentioned that Walker and Butler for Philly were too expensive, and I think like looking at Toronto, I'd rather like prioritize guys like Shed and Walter over those guys now after I reran everything. So it's just it makes sense that they said that, and I was a little behind rerunning.
Anything else, or shall we scoot along?
We can scoot along.
Crunch time's coming in 20 minutes. That's right. I forgot we have a little bit less time, so we got to pick up the pace just a little, and we got to give out clues for the people. The Fleet Thursday clue is sun, slick, shaky, sun. That is our three clues. Rafer Alston was guest in the chats. Skip to my Lou. That's shout out to Rafer Alston, NBA champion Rafer Alston with
Miami Heat.
There you go with the Miami Heat. From the he was on the N1 tour, right? I believe he was on the N1 tour. Like one of the only players that pivoted to the NBA, as far as I know.
Well, Escalade wasn't making it.
Escalade. Taking shots at Escalade. Escalade was Mark Jackson's brother.
Oh, was he? I didn't know.
I'm like 99% sure that's true, unless I'm making that up. But I'm pretty sure Escalade was his brother. Yeah, there you go. That was not a chop fact. That's an official legit fact. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about my Miami Heat and the Grizz. 226 is the total. The Heat are 5-point dogs here at home versus Memphis. Who's in, who's out for this one? Another 7:30 game, by the way. A lot of 7:30 games. We just got clarity as far as Duncan Robinson is available. Wiggins is still out, of course. Terry Rozier, he's got a stomach, so he can't play. Alec Burks is available. Haywood Highsmith, last we saw, is questionable. Memphis, nothing we're waiting for here. Brandon Clark out for the season. No Vince Williams. How do we feel about the Heat and the Grizz?
I don't have a lot of love for the Heat. I do have interest in the Grizz. Just looking through, like Zach Edey, I think is very interesting. Cattell Ware, I can get some Cattell Ware. Not so like you won't have to get much. It's more Edey for me. Is that incorrect. I feel like Edey as a big makes a lot of sense on the Memphis side.
I wish he was more unowned because he's one of the most volatile players as far as rotation and minutes. Sometimes he just gets played off the court. One of the things that I've noticed is since they're the new coaching situation, they got rid of Taylor Jenkins. He's played a lot of minutes in 2 of the 3 games. There's one game he's played off the court against Boston, which kind of makes sense. Boston and all their threes. He doesn't really fit that kind of game. But he played 32 minutes versus the Warriors and 26 versus the Lakers. Lakers don't even have a center, really. Like they do, but not always. I think the new coach likes Zach Edey more than the old coach. It's just I don't know this, but I think I just wish I wish we had more of a sample size. But I wish he wasn't very popular, and I think he's gonna be popular. And I don't like playing a player like Zach Edey when he's gonna be popular because again he's super volatile. But I'm probably playing him. I say all that. We got 25% on DK, and I should also say he's a better play on DK than he is on FanDuel, just the way the prices work. I think Klingon is better on FanDuel, and when you compare the two, and on DK, it's Zach Edey. So I like it, even though the field's going to be there too. So I do think there's a chance he plays more minutes, and less likely he gets played up the court. He certainly can. We've seen that before. And I think Jay Huff. Remember Jay Huff passed him by, the other backup, and don't think he's played in the last few many games. So I think the new coach has Edey ahead of Huff. Just kind of going through their court IQ stuff. Yeah, Huff has not played. He played 2 minutes against Boston and 3 of 5 against the Lakers. He's behind Edey is the point. And there was a time not that long ago where Huff was ahead of him, and then the coach got fired.
Yeah, Edey would probably be my favorite play, followed by on Memphis, followed by Morant. And then maybe Santi. And that's really it. Like you play on the Miami side, I said where, and I don't know why. I just kind of like the way he plays. And then I looked at the price and it's 6,300. Davion Mitchell is cheap. There's not much there. You can always play Bam, but
Bam and Hero are kind of expensive. Like you can play them, but they're kind of Hero on FanDuel. I'll say 8.5 on FanDuel is pretty good. And Pele Larson is an interesting flyer. Coach Bo seems to like him. The Heat, by the way, they don't know. They did not get the memo. They've won 6 in a row, and now dangerously, they might make the playoffs, which is what you're not supposed to do when your pick is lottery protected. You're not supposed to make the playoffs. So come on, Miami.
What's Larson's price?
He's 4.6. I'm sorry, it's 4.6 on FanDuel.
He's 4.4 on DK. I kind of like the Larson call.
Yeah, he's been getting some run. We know how the minutes for Miami.
Spo's out on who's the guy who's dating his ex-wife?
Oh, true. Allegedly, Jaime Jaquez. Yeah, I mean, Hopkins hasn't been very good this year either, for what it's worth. So I don't know if you're alleging that he's getting punished because, he's getting phased out. We're only giving him 2 hedge minutes tonight, Jaquez, but it's tricky. Once you think you have Miami's rotations figured out, Spo's going to switch him on you. Do we have a winner by chance in the Discord? Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Brandon Marsh, Kevin Johnson. I see what you're doing with Kevin Johnson. Charles Barkley. We're naming some sons. Okay, I gotcha. Former mayor Kevin Johnson. Might still be current mayor. I'm not sure. Ja. Bane.
You can always play Ja. I'm with Ja. I'd prefer him over Bane. I like Santi. Those would be the 2 that I'd be interested in Memphis. From Memphis outside of Zach Edey. Jalen Wells is 3-2. Just wonder how many minutes he's going to get.
He doesn't do a lot with him, but
he doesn't do a lot with him. Even if we have, I just want to see what we have him for a minute.
We're giving him 28, but 28 minutes equals an 18-point median projection, which is like, he's 3-2, and what do you need out of a guy that's 3-2? If he can get to 25, okay, we're in business. But can't really assume that's going to happen.
I think I'd rather go to like Larson on the other side and spend the 1,200.
Yeah, we're giving him 28 minutes for what it's worth. I think I prefer Larson as well. Okay. Let's talk about. Let's move on.
Edie's 4-5. Like I think Edie's easily my favorite play.
The fourth clue, Bobby, is fake. Fake is the fourth clue. Fake. Fake is the fourth clue for Fleet Thursday. We got two more games.
Ray for Austin was like a really good guess for this Fleet Thursday for what it's worth.
What's a good guess?
Ray for Alston, slick, shaky.
Yeah, it describes his ball handling skills, I suppose, right?
Fake.
All right. So speaking of fake, this game feels kind of fake to me. Minnesota and Brooklyn. It's happening, but is anybody acknowledging it? 215 is the total here. Brooklyn is a 14-point dog against the T-Wolves as far as who's in, who's out. This is the last of the 7:30 games until we talk about the back end of the TNT doubleheader. I assume it's TNT. It might be ESPN. National TV doubleheader tonight. Pulling up the injury report to see if I missed anything, but I don't think there's a lot going on here. Well, so not the Minnesota side. Minnesota's clean. Brooklyn, no Jalen Wilson, no Zaire Williams. He's got to rest. He's exhausted. Cam Thomas, Daron Sharp, Cam Johnson, Noah Clowney. He might be done for the year. They still have, it looks like they have 11 or 10 live bodies. Minnesota and Brooklyn. This game is happening. Again, I don't have a lot to say about this game. Like, yeah, you can always play Ant, of course, sure. I don't like it. I guess there's some fringe Brooklyn stuff as like the cheapies we can discuss, but are you excited about Minnesota and Brooklyn? I'm not.
Derek Whitehead and Drew Timme, that would be the two guys that have the most interest in, but outside of that, it's not much. They're on the Brooklyn side. Whitehead's 3K, Drew Timme's 4,100. I think I prefer Timme. I don't know. I think ownership's going to prefer Whitehead. I would just because he's 3K, and I feel like more people are going to gravitate towards Whitehead. I think Timmy's the play for me. Any thoughts there? You're late season basketball. You know the difference between these guys.
What I know about Timme is I believe, this is not my wheelhouse, but I believe he was one of those players that was kind of like discovered or had a breakout during the March Madness last year, maybe a couple years ago. And I think he also kind of like looks like he's 40, but he's actually like 20. Am I confusing him with somebody else? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think that's who Drew Timme is. But, he should be playing about – yeah, he has a good facial hair, headband, Gonzaga. He's the classic guy that pops up out of March. Like, I did not know about your existence. And maybe that's just because I don't deal with college basketball and he was a popular player all year long. I don't know. Could have been. But I do remember seeing, like, the memes of this person. And good for him. He made – now, if you had your druthers, he would not be in the NBA because the NBA would not have 30 teams, and he would be in China. There's no way. He's barely hanging on. All right. Yeah, he was one of the clutch players in the tournament, I believe. Anyways,
this was
I don't say it again.
I feel like this is pretty much a catch me up game.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It just does not. I'm giving a refresh right now as far as ownership stuff. And there are a few like fringe players that are getting, the 10% stuff. It's kind of a smaller slate. Let's see, most popular players as of right now. Keon Johnson getting 15%, Watford 12%, Edwards 8%, which is of note. Tosan is getting about 15%. But that's 20 minutes. See, that's the thing. He's an interesting flyer because he's 3K. Why can't he play 30 minutes? I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying it's likely. But I think it's possible. I don't know. Why can't he play 25 minutes? So I don't mind that as a flyer, but his projection's not good. He's not a great fantasy point minute player. We're only giving him 20 minutes, but if you're playing large field stuff, I'd probably include him just in case. And he would almost definitely be a mopper, right? Pretty sure he'd be a mopper. Yeah, I think so. He would be amongst the last 5 if this game gets ugly. Okay, let's talk about the last game. Let's go ahead and drop the last clue. Last clue is belief. Slick Shaky Sun, Fake Belief. Get in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. Tell me what athlete I am talking about. The guesses are coming in fast and furious. It is not CeeDee Lamb or White Chocolate or Ted Lasso or Kyler Murray, but or Meta World Peace. Oh, now I see why people are saying Ted Lasso. I'm like, why Ted Lasso? Believe. Okay. It's not the Ultimate Warrior, but it's an amazing guess too. Okay, last game. Speaking of Warriors and the Ultimate Warrior, all the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, they're going to come out and play and take on the Lakers. 239-229 is the total. Not a lot of big totals on this slate, right? I'm not sure if you've noticed. That is the biggest one on the board at 229, which is fine. And it's tight, right? Lakers are just 1-point favorites. This is the last game. This game starts 2.5 hours after everything else tips off. However, nothing as far as injuries, right? Well, I shouldn't say nothing. We do have Kuminga, who's questionable. I think he's supposed to play. I feel like I saw a note somewhere that he's expected to play, but he's officially questionable. Gary Payton, he is out. He's got a thumb, so he cannot play. LeBron officially probable. This is on national TV. They always give LeBron like probable tags. He's going to play. And nobody else of note. Maxi Kleber has not played a game just yet for Dallas. The Stars are out in LA. How much are we paying up for Curry, Luka, LeBron? How do you feel about the Warriors and the Lakers?
Yeah, LeBron at 10-1 is probably my favorite. Probably it's a tight spread game. Like, I don't know. We have a Q tag for LeBron, but I think he plays. He'd probably be behind guys like Giannis and Banchero for me as like my pay-up studs. Then it's Steph. Obviously, Steph had a great game the other night. March time, Steph can go off whenever, but just interesting he goes off during March Madness because I just have this vivid memory of Steph at Davidson lighting up everyone during March Madness. Yeah, and then
he looks so young at Davidson. I mean, I guess he was.
I was watching the highlights the other night. Yeah, he looks like he's like 17 years old and he's playing with people that are like, yeah. And he just was unstoppable. Then you can go Luka. Luka's going to be low owned, I would imagine, relative to these other guys. And if you ever wanted to swap Giannis for Luka, I don't hate it from a tournament perspective. Giannis is my favorite play on the slate as a big spend, but Luka's always, you can always play Luka. But if I had to choose between the two, I'm getting to Giannis tonight.
Luka 15%, LeBron 15%, Jimmy buckets 12%, Curry 5%. He's 9.4 now on DK. It's a pretty big jump as far as his price. And you scratch out the last game, he really has not paid off a 9.4 tag in a while.
Yeah.
So again, if you think he's going to hit 7 or 8 or 9 threes, sure, of course. He has that ceiling. Draymond's kind of tricky because he has those games where he drops like 8, 9, 7, 2, 2, and he can kind of get there and just score 6 points. Don't mind him, but 6.5 now on DK, single digits as far as ownership. Your favorite play in this game amongst the stars? You mentioned LeBron, you mentioned Luka. If you had to pick one of these stars,
LeBron at 10-1. It's LeBron at 10-1. Yeah.
Somebody guessed Manti Te'o, which is a spectacular guess. It is not Manti Te'o because fake was one of the clues.
In belief.
Did you ever watch that the Netflix doc where he's on? He talks about it. It's pretty interesting.
I didn't. I watched the Karen Reed Netflix doc last night with my girlfriend. Pretty good.
Karen Reed. I don't know. It's like a murder mystery story. I don't know who that is.
It's a murder mystery. It's in happened in like 2022. It's in Canton, this town. My parents actually just moved out to this town.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. You should definitely take a watch.
Let's give a bonus 6 clue because we got to give this away before crunch time comes knocking on the door, and they'll be here momentarily in a few minutes. I believe it's Noto, TJ Zwarych, and Kevin Roth. Roth is coming back, working double duty. He was on earlier today talking a little bit of baseball. I believe it was Roth. Yeah, Roth is back. This person's not real. When I said fake, I wasn't trying to this is not a real person, but who this person is. You may have seen him in movies. But yeah, and some people guessed their occupation with some other players as well. But let's go ahead and give away The premium. It's not Rudy, but Rudy's a good guess. Rudy was real, by the way.
But you said it was
Rudy
a human at the
alive.
beginning of the. Okay.
The story was made up, mostly. So says Joe Montana. It was at Notre Dame at the time. But yeah. You like Rudy? Am I? They said based on a true story, and I guess it's kind of is. And
I've seen it like. I've never watched it all the way through.
Yeah, I think Montana was like. I think he said like I don't remember him being there, basically. Which is a big indictment. By the way, I hope you're sitting down. Are you sitting down? Jeremy Grant's been ruled out. He's not playing basketball tonight. You gonna be all right?
We're gonna make it. The Trailblazers, guys. Play the Trailblazers. I like the Blazers. Denny breaking the slate. I'll just give my answer now.
Yeah, well, if Simons is out, he's gonna get even more of a bump. So
even if Simons is in, I like Denny. How's that?
Yeah. I mean, he's projecting really well. I think I'm gonna be off him in my main lineup. I might regret that, but I still think Portland should not try to win. They're still playing him a ton of minutes, but if Simons doesn't play, it's gonna be hard not to play him. But I think I'm not. I'm not saying that with certainty, but he's just gonna be so popular. There are some guesses coming in the Discord that are really, really close. People are around the crab, they're right on it, but they haven't officially nailed it down. Trying to think if there's another. We got a winner. We do have a winner right there at the buzzer. Several people guessed at the same time. Bobby, let's tell the people. Since we have crunch time knocking on the door coming in momentarily, it wasn't Jesus Shuttleworth or Jake Shuttleworth. I don't know Jake Shuttleworth. I know Jesus. Is that the same person? Same family? Not sure. So the winner, Bobby, Slick, Shaky, Sun, Fake, Belief. Belief is like one's creed. Fake is just saying it's a fake person. Sun, Apollo is the sun god. Of course we know that. Slick was for I forget. Why did I Sly? That was first clue was always a little shaky. Sly Stallone, Sylvester Stallone, Slick. Shaky was for why did I say shaky? There's a reason why. I wrote the full disclosure. I wrote this 5 minutes before the show, but shaky was because of Rocky, shaky. Yeah, synonyms. There you go. But Sun, Fake, Belief. Shout out to Golf Nuts 04240. Producer Steve's going to juice you up with a week free of RG Premium.
I hope someone gives you some stuff about these clues because Rocky and Shaky as a synonym.
It's not my best one. I will concede it's not my best one. It's not my best one. I've done better.
You did it on the fly though. You did it on the fly.
I had something come up and just a time scramble, but I thought at least the last three can at least get you there. But we got a winner, and then that's all that matters. You said your favorite player, your player that's going to break the slate is going to be
Denny.
Yeah. I'm not going to besmirch. I like him too. I'm probably playing Giannis. It is kind of fun to just kind of wait in the wings and have Luka or LeBron just sitting there. And Curry, and I just don't know if I'm going to get the Curry. He just seems too expensive, and I don't think he does that again, and he kind of has to. Do you have a favorite cheapie in the slate? Who's your favorite cheap player on the slate?
I think Edie would probably be my favorite cheap player.
Yeah. I like him too. Just why can't he be less popular? He's projecting pretty well.
What are you hoping for foul trouble?
Well, no, I want to play him. I think he's a good play, and I think the new coach likes him more than the old coach. The problem is he's going to be played, and he's also a guy that could get buried and he gets played off the court and plays 12 minutes. We've seen that many times.
What about Jacoby Walter?
He's one of the more popular ones. Yeah, he's fine. He's expected to get a lot of minutes. 30 minutes is his current projection. I was looking at A.J. Johnson. I don't like the matchup, obviously, but he should play a lot of minutes. He's not that good, but he's good. He's that sweet spot of like good enough for fantasy, but not good enough to like win. You know,
he's 5'1" though.
Yeah, I mean, but he's gonna play. Well, I shouldn't say gonna. He's projected to play 35 minutes.
Like I'd rather play Walter or Sheed. I think. I don't know. I guess I'm not against AJ Johnson, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
All right. Crunch time is fully assembled. You can tell Noto to his face that you want the Utah Jazz to go away. They do not deserve a franchise up there. Let's do it. It's TJ Zwarych. It's Kevin Roth. It's Noto. It's crunch time right now. Noto, I'm sure you're watching this show. Bobby said that Utah should just lose their basketball team because no big name players want to play there, and then that's why they have to tank. It's a whole conversation. You got to win the lottery. It's how you got to get there. So Bobby's just like, well, they should just lose their team. So it was a good run, I guess.
Yeah, we either got to draft well or get a really good white guy, which are pretty rare these days. So,
is there one of those that's available in the draft that's coming up? I haven't been following it that closely.
Yeah, that's the question for somebody else, not me. But yeah, it's tough time out here.
Cooper Flag, guys. Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag, I think, is pretty sure he's white.
Maine he'd definitely stay in Utah for his entire career. I mean, he grew up in Maine, right?
Utah is every team wants to get Cooper Flag, but Utah, they're salivating at the prospect. Let's be honest, they're salivating the prospect of.
I still think Dallas is going to somehow get him.
Oh, I can't see that aluminum hat on you're wearing. It's going to be a make good, like that was all kind of worked out months ago.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, Bobby. Anything else before we get out of here? Make way for crunch time.
That's it. Good luck tonight, guys.
All right, Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. To the sharpest minds in the biz. Boys, I think I'm firing away my whole bankroll tonight. It's finally a slate where we don't have multiple sports happening. It is just hoops, and I'm going all in. I'm taking all the chips, and I'm pushing them in right to the middle of the table. Noto, how you feel about that move?
Yeah, we got to take your advice tonight. You want me to host?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm kind of over everything today, if I'm being honest. You feel good about the slate, though? You feel all right?
At this point, I just want it to be April 16th or whatever, end of the regular season. So, yeah, I feel fine, but ready for hoops to be meaningful again.
Okay. We got TJ in the house as well. Back-to-back shows with my guy TJ twice in one day. How lucky can one man get? What up, TJ?
Yeah, long time no see. We broke down the baseball slate. Didn't go too great, but hopefully things are going to go a little bit better for NBA tonight.
I have faith. Let's talk about it because we only have 30 minutes until lock, I do believe. 29 minutes, not a whole lot of time. So let's dive right into it. Noto, you want to catch me up on anything that I have missed that I need to know or anything that is still to come?
Yeah, not much left on the injury front. Anthony Simmons still questionable, so got to monitor that. Obviously, Portland's in a really good spot against Toronto, and then Kuminga in the late game, questionable as well. That game is probably the one that should be the most fun to watch, and maybe if it stays close, we get a shootout between some superstars there. So that's really only what I'm watching. Everything else is pretty much cleared up.
Okay, well then let's jump right into it. We like to start on FanDuel. We like to start a point guard, and TJ, you get the honors of going first.
Yeah, so a lot of this does depend actually on that Anthony Simons news. He's currently projecting as the best point guard RG value on FanDuel, and he's projecting for like 45% ownership. Now, I think based on that ownership, I'm probably looking to fade Anthony Simons from a tournament standpoint regardless. And then other guys at those positions, I don't mind Carrington at 5'3", Jacoby Walters fine, but would probably rather play him at shooting guard. Steph Curry is my favorite tournament play on the slate, especially on FanDuel, where he is $500 cheaper than he is on DraftKings. He's only $8,900. He tends to, in his old age, come to play for these big games a little bit more. He's facing off against LeBron. Him and LeBron have had some really fun back and forths with each other, even as they get a little bit older. So Curry, probably my favorite play at the position. Definitely my favorite play at the position for tournaments. Don't mind some Ryan Rollins and Jamal Shed, but they're a little bit better on DraftKings than they are on FanDuel. We did just get word that Marcus Smart is actually in the starting lineup against Orlando with Jordan Poole out. Now, still at $4,200. I don't think I love him on FanDuel. I think he's maybe worth a shot on DK, but 42 on FanDuel, don't know if I have the need to get there.
Okay. Then, Noto, your thought to point. Are you playing Smart?
Yeah, I won't be playing any Smart, but I do like the Steph Curry call a lot. Again, that game, it's late. It's meaningful. Both teams fighting for playoff positioning. And, yeah, anytime you get Curry and LeBron, tend to put on a show. So I like that call. I really like Tyler Hero at home against the Grizzlies. Pace-up spot for Miami. No Andrew Wiggins. They're missing a few other guys too, including Rozier. So I think it's a good spot for him at 8,500 on FanDuel. Don't mind Jacoby Walter. He's been playing really well. I know Scotty Barnes is playing tonight, but Toronto has nothing to play for, so they're giving their young guys a little bit more minutes. I like him against Portland. And, yeah, Simons news. I mean, if he's going to be that high owned, but with him being one of the later games, maybe I don't know, maybe he doesn't come in that high ownership, but he's obviously projecting really well. They're without a bunch of their guys as well, including Grant and Scoot Henderson. So a lot of guys that project well. And then most of the values that I like come into more play on DraftKings than on FanDuel.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to shooting guard.
Yeah, so a lot of the same names here. Tyler Hero, Jacoby Walter, my favorites. And then, yeah, you can play AJ Johnson. We haven't projected for 35 minutes. I know it's a tough spot against Orlando, but he's played really well. Been a good per minute guy. He can fill up the stat sheet a little bit. Doesn't need a ton of shot attempts to produce. So I like him quite a bit. The Portland guys kind of waiting on that Simons news. Kamara and Sharp would both see a nice uptick if Simons ends up being out. For large field stuff, I do like Anthony Edwards. I know this game has a pretty high spread. I know Minnesota, one of the more healthy teams in the NBA right now, but that's a bottom five in pretty much every defensive category, rebounding as well. And then large field, again, I like Larson for the Heat. I think he could be interesting. 29 plus in 3 straight games. And again, their backcourt's missing a bunch of guys.
Yeah. Okay. TJ, your thoughts to shooting guard.
One guy that I forgot to mention at point guard, and again, this is another one of those options that's a lot better on DraftKings than it is on FanDuel, but I still think if Anthony Simons gets ruled out, you can play Delano Banton at 5,700 on FanDuel, but we'll talk about him more on DraftKings when the time comes. I like the AJ Johnson call. He's the guy that just kind of feels to me like the safest 5X play. You know, he's only 5,100. He's probably going to get you about 25 to 30 points. Not going to go super crazy. It's a tough matchup, but I still think he is a very nice option on this slate. For large field tournaments, I really like Quentin Grimes. Hasn't shown that same upside recently as he had about a month ago, 2-3 weeks ago, but still Quentin Grimes, I think, has a massive, massive ceiling in this spot up against Milwaukee. If you need to save salary, trying some Gary Trent, I don't think is crazy. Buddy Hield, I don't think it's super crazy, but not strong plays. I would probably just rather go with the ones up top that we've already mentioned. And then again, if Anthony Simons is out, Sharp, Banton, that's when I'm really start going to these guys.
Yeah. All right. Take me to small forward, TJ.
Denny Avdia, top play here at $8,700. He becomes even better if Anthony Simons is out. And then we have Tumani Kamara projecting for a lot of ownership as well behind him. I like Avdia regardless. 6K Tumani Kamara if Simons is in. That's definitely upward 30% ownership. That's definitely a tournament fade for me tonight, as is Jimmy Butler at 8,300. Not somebody I feel the need really to get to in tournaments at their hefty price tags. Sharp is a priority if Simons is out. I love Austin Reeves' price tag on FanDuel and the fact that you can play him at small forward at 7,900. Doing a little Reeves Curry stack is a lot more affordable than a Doncic and Curry or even a LeBron and Curry. And so I really, really like going with some Austin Reeves tonight at only 7,900.
Good stuff. Noto, small forward.
Yeah, don't mind the Reeves call. I also like LeBron in that game. Again, pairing up Curry and LeBron, never a bad idea. I know he hasn't had a ton of upside with Luka in the lineup, but a game that's more important than most. It's going to have a playoff-like feel to it, so I think LeBron's going to play well. Love Avdia. He's my only core play tag at the moment. He's just been crushing. I think he's averaged over 50 fantasy points in his last 6 games, and they're missing some guys. Good matchup against Toronto. And unlike a lot of the teams that are kind of tanking, Portland's at least giving their guys their usual minutes, so gotta like that. Banchero against Washington. Game has some blowout potential, but Washington played pretty well last night. The game's in Washington too, which should help. So at 9,900, I like him quite a bit. And then trying to look for some sneaky tournament plays, but there's just not a lot on FanDuel.
All right. Well, we seem to have lost Roth for a second, so take us to power forward.
Yeah, he's going all in, building his lineups. Doesn't have time to host. So power forward, the guy that I fade every slate, Giannis. Until he gets there and burns me, I'm going to keep fading him. I know he projects well. Last time he had 70 fantasy points was January 27th. And at this price point, he's going to need 65 to 70 fantasy points to be in that winning tournament lineup. So he's my fade of the slate. I like Avdia again. I like Banchero. Again, I like the spot for Miami as a whole. So I like building lineups with either Hero or Adebayo. I think they're both pretty good plays at home against Memphis. And then that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. I think we're a power forward then.
Yeah. That's where Noto just finished, and so I'll continue on. I'm with you. Giannis has not shown the same ceiling this year, and so I'm perfectly okay with getting underweight on him today. If you're playing a ton of lineups underweight, and if you're playing one, definitely okay going with the fade. The other guy I always do that with, and I mean, he did just have one ceiling-ish game the other day. But Bam Adebayo is somebody that I feel the exact same way about. I just never really play Bam Adebayo, especially when he's picking up some ownership, because he doesn't really ever flash that big of a ceiling. And so I'm with you on maybe getting off those two guys a little bit. Adebayo, of course, coming in a little chalkier than Giannis, of course, coming in a little chalkier than Adebayo is. I really like Trenton Watford as a salary saver today. Jalen Wilson got ruled out, opens up a few extra minutes for him. I like the LeBron call at power forward. I think if you want to go the salary saving route because it's not that strong of a position, you could go with a Drew Timmy. You could go with a Justin Edwards. Somebody like those guys are totally viable on this slate. Watford is my favorite of the group. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'd probably rather go Avdi at power forward than small forward because it's not a very strong position here at power forward today. And chat saying that Anthony Simons is out. Can we get some confirmation? There it is. Anthony Simons is out. So again, Portland now becomes the best team to target on the slate. Avdia's borderline lock button play. And I think like this will be again more on DraftKings, but on DK, Banton is almost locked for me now.
Okay, take me to center.
Center position, not as strong as we're used to seeing it here. We got guys in the mid-tier like Donovan Clingan, Khalil Ware, Zach Edey. All of them are totally viable. Wendell Carter is the chalkiest guy, and he's fine from a cash game perspective, but I think I'd probably try and avoid that for tournaments. I think you can get to Draymond in tournaments. I think Orlando Robinson at 5,300 is a very interesting pivot off of the other 5K guys, as is Adem Bona. So those would probably be the pivots off of the Klingons, the Carters that are picking up a little bit more ownership that I'd go with today.
Okay. Noto, your favorite play on FanDuel at center.
Yeah, Anthony being out definitely impacts the slate, like TJ just mentioned. I do like Banton on FanDuel too. Played 28 minutes in his start the other night. And he's been the guy that's averaged over a fantasy point per minute the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, Banton, Sharp, Kamara, and Avdia, all great plays for me against Toronto. And, yeah, apologies to the chat. Giannis did have 69 fantasy points the other night. Didn't quite get to the 70 mark that I mentioned. But still, my point stands. He rarely hits his ceiling these days. And 12K, barely getting, 5.5X isn't going to do it for me. Mm-hmm. As far as center goes, again, I like Bam Adebayo quite a bit. I also like Khalil Ware in that game against Memphis. I'm going to be overweight on Portland, going to be overweight on Miami. I think those are going to be my 2 biggest stands of the slate. TJ mentioned Klingon. I don't mind Brook Lopez for large field stuff. He's a guy that could get you 15 or he can get you 45 plus. If you look at his game log, he's a guy that's gotten 45 plus in 3 of his last 10. Nobody ever plays him. Portis is still out. Lillard's still out. And he's a nice little pivot off of Giannis. And then, Bona is more playable on FanDuel than on DraftKings.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I want to kick things over to DraftKings. We do have about 17 minutes until lock. But first, you should know, if you're playing multiple DFS sports, check out this deal. For limited time, get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. That's just $15 more than PGA Premium. It's only $5 more than NBA Premium. It also includes content for March Madness. Only a couple games left. But hey, if you're interested in that, go ahead and make sure you are signing up. Let's talk about a little DK here. This is where I'm full push, all my money, all my dollars. I'm all in on DK. Noto, what are we doing at point?
Yeah, so a lot of options now. I think Banton pretty much a lock play for me. 4.3K. He's probably going to start again. He started the last game that Simons was out. I think it was last night. Then you got Sharp. Again, I like Tyler Hero as kind of a tournament play. Guy with a really high floor. He's had at least 45 in 5 of his last 6 games. Pace-up game against Memphis. Luka's rating out a lot better on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel, but I don't know if I can get there either. I kind of like the balanced approach a little bit better, especially with those Portland guys being, between 5 and 8K. I think that's the route I'm going to go tonight. And then Ryan Rollins, more in play on DraftKings than on FanDuel. He's been pretty good the last couple of games, played 34 minutes, put up 32 against the Knicks, and then 27 minutes the other night, put up 23 against the Hawks, and had a big game in his most recent one. So those are probably my favorites. If you want to get a little bit different, Davion Mitchell, don't think a lot of people are going to play him, especially now that Banton's just an easy click, and he's going to play 35 minutes against Memphis.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. TJ, your thoughts at point?
Just getting a new and hopefully final set of lineup build in here to get in the last 10, 15, 5, and we are good to go. So at the point guard position, I'm getting a 91% Delano Banton. I want at least 2 Portland players in every single lineup today, and I'm getting up to 4 that I am perfectly okay with. But I have 91% Banton, 49% Shaedon Sharp as my 2 highest owned point guards, but they also do have shooting guard eligibility, and point guard is probably stronger than shooting guard, so totally fine with playing them there. I have 30% Curry, 30% Shed, 30% Luka Doncic, who I'm hoping to be well over the field on today. I'm going to play some of the cheap Portland chalk and then load up on the low-owned late game, the Currys, the Doncic's, the Austin Reeves, the who's what I'm missing? Oh, yeah, LeBron James. And I'm going to be fading Jimmy Butler, who is the highest owned of the group in the game. Getting some Ryan Rollins, AJ Johnson, a little bit of Tyler Herro and John Morant, and then Austin Reeves, as I mentioned here as well. Mid-range and cheap options, Keon Johnson, Davion Mitchell, Carrington, and even Marcus Smart, I think are fine, but nowhere near as high on the priority list now that we have Delano Banton.
Okay, good stuff. That brings us to shooting guard, TJ.
Not a whole lot to add. Banton and Sharp are the main priorities. AJ Johnson, Austin Reeves are totally fine tournament picks. And then Quentin Grimes is the only other one I'd want to add because I really like him for large field tournaments.
Noto, your thoughts at shooting guard?
Yeah, pretty much all the guys we mentioned at point guard. I also like Keon Johnson. Like TJ mentioned, I think he could be interesting. Nobody's going to play him now. Larson as well on Miami, going to fly under the radar. If you are spending up and you don't want to go up to Luka, don't want to go up to Giannis, I think Anthony Edwards is interesting at 9.8K. Could end up with like a less than 10% ownership in large field stuff, so I like that. Then we have AJ Johnson, Jacoby Walter, both shooting guard eligible. But yeah, my favorite point per dollar guys, again, going to be Banton and Sharp and Kamara.
Okay, small forward.
Yeah, Avdia, small forward, my only core play tag. I'm going to probably tag Banton right now as well. And then you have LeBron there at 10-1. We got all these value plays. Probably got to spend up somewhere. He's probably my favorite guy above 10K. My favorite spend's probably going to be Hero outside of Avdia. But other guys, Kamara's there. Larson's there. That's probably it for me.
Okay, easy enough. TJ, small forward.
80% Avdia, getting an absolute ton of him. Jacoby Walter is next up on the list. I have 30%. followed by another Raptor at 21% Jamison Battle. I do have about 30% LeBron, a little bit under 30% of him today. Falls on the same track that we were talking about with Luka and Reeves and Curry today. And then, that's gross. I have some surprising amount of Jalen Wells for Memphis, who's super duper cheap today. And then some Larson and some Chris Murray I'm getting to now from Portland, just in case he picks up some extra minutes and plays 20 plus at minimum price.
Is your surprising amount of Jalen Wells something you plan on changing, or is that something that you're like, well, hey, that's what the numbers bear out, I'm gonna do it?
12 minutes to lock. It's just the mini max. I don't really care. I'll roll with it.
It's a good attitude. It's late in the season. We're like, it's fine, probably. Okay, I believe that brings us to power forward. TJ, what are we doing there?
A lot of the same names. 80% Avdia, 28% LeBron James, 20% Aldama. Then it's just a whole bunch of gross punts for me. I'm doing the same thing as Noto. I'm getting way underweight on Giannis Antetokounmpo today. I only have 8%. I only have 8% Paolo Banchero as well, so way underweight there. Then I'm playing Jonathan Mogbo, the guy on Brooklyn whose name I don't know how to pronounce. Tosan Evbumwam, Chris Murray, Alex Reese, Trenton Watford. Whole bunch of just really gross plays.
Fun. Noto, power forward.
Yeah, I think this is where I'm just going to play Avdia single entry and play everyone else at small forward. After that, I mean, I like Banchero a little bit more than Giannis, but not a guy that I'm forcing into lineups. I don't mind LeBron once again. But I do like the LeBron Curry pairing a little bit more on FanDuel because it's a little bit easier to get to. Yeah, it's power forward is pretty gross. I don't love anybody that's cheap tonight.
Okay, then let's go somewhere where maybe there's better. Maybe center. Yeah.
Maybe
really.
not.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess Bam Adebayo is power forward eligible. He's probably my favorite. Looks like a lot of people are going to be saving if they're not playing Giannis. So Zach Edey's getting some ownership. He's one of those guys that he can get you 30 plus, but he can also tank your lineups if he gets into foul trouble. We've seen it happen over and over again. So if Bam doesn't drop fouls against him, maybe he can have a good game. Klingon's probably my favorite at 5.5. He's probably not going to get as much ownership as the other Portland guys. You can play the Portland stack. You can play 4 of them tonight. With Pirtle out, you can go to Orlando Robinson. He's had a really nice season in games where Pirtle has missed. And that's pretty much it for me. Again, I like Brook Lopez in tournaments. I just think he's a guy. 6K, he can get you 45 plus. And that's it for me.
Okay. TJ, your thoughts at center, and then we'll open it up to some QQs. We still have 10 whole minutes until lock.
Well, they're the same names as FanDuel, but they do come at cheaper price tags on DraftKings, so it's a little bit easier and more comfortable to play them. Orlando Robinson, Donovan Klingon, Zach Edey are going to be my 3 highest owned. I have 20+% of all 3 of them. And after that, Adem Bona, Khalil Ware, even some Quentin Post, Duop Reith, and Vukcevic for Washington playing some of the backups just because it's not that strong of a position today. If I were going to play some Giannis, I actually think this specifically is where I'd want to be getting to him.
Good stuff, boys. Let's see if we got any questions. As usual, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. This is free content. Our second show today, just giving out the goods. And the whole idea is that we get more eyeballs, we get more clicks, we get more likes, we keep the show free. So hit that thumbs up for us for Noto and for TJ. And we'll see what we've got here. Discord looks pretty clean, but we do have some questions coming in the old YouTube. Derek says, TJ, is there anyone at 3,900 or less on DK? Util spot. There's got to be somebody. There's somebody.
I'm sure there is. Let's see. 3,900 or less. I would go Jamison Battle or Marcus Smart.
Oh, Smart. Okay. Yeah. Can you tell Noto his boy Keith Mitchell is on fire? Noto, your boy Keith Mitchell is on fire.
He is, and then he'll shoot 6 over tomorrow. Probably miss the cut. That's what he does every week. But yeah, he's a good dude.
Okay, I didn't realize that this was even golf. I had no idea what we were talking about. But all right, now I get it. Let's see. Ruthless Villain just says Curry, James, LGH. Let's go home. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know. Unless it's something you're not allowed to type, in which case don't type it. Noto, is Highsmith playing for Miami tonight? Do we know if Highsmith is playing?
His listen is questionable, but I also don't think we really care.
Yeah, we have him for 23 minutes right now. I don't know. I like a lot of Miami guys, but his minutes have been all over the place. He'll just randomly have 20-minute game.
No. All right. Scott Davies in the chat says late game hammer. LGH, late game hammer. Okay. We got it now. That's on me. That's my bad. I should have caught that. Scott says, TJ, with Lonnie Walker not starting, is he okay in FanDuel Cash? If not, who am I supposed to play at small forward for 5K, baby?
No, he's definitely not okay. I don't think he would have been okay even if he was starting. That's not really a spot where there is anybody eligible to play. So I would do some readjusting because I would not feel comfortable playing Walker or Hachimura, Moses Moody, somebody like that in cash.
Bummer. Okay, good note. OS has a very good question, TJ. It's simply how to get different on FanDuel. So what's the best way to kind of get away from the chalk? Or at least what are you doing to get away from it?
Curry LeBron stack.
Yeah, that's not the chalk.
No. That's super low owned.
Okay.
Especially Curry.
Yeah, I don't know. In my mind, that's like obviously we should do that. That's what everybody's doing.
It's just because it's not 2020 or 2015 anymore.
yeah, that's true. Let's see what we got here. Hammer says, Noto, give me a wolf. I don't think he actually wants a wolf. I think he wants a dog. Your favorite cheap center on DK who's a dog.
All right. Look. Yeah, I'll go Orlando Robinson. It is fun seeing Drew Timmy get some minutes up.
Agreed. All right. Does Slow-Mo's minutes projection look light to you? I'm not sure what his minutes projection is at, but TJ immediately give a little no shake.
No, it's fine.
17 seems fine.
All right.
Don't play him.
I do love his nickname, though.
Say that again, Noto.
Do love his nickname, though.
Yeah, tough to top that. Derek says, DKGPP. Noto, I'm coming to you here. Paolo and Battle or Franz and Davion Mitchell?
I think both are interesting. I actually like Davion quite a bit, so I'm going to go with him and Franz.
Okay. Jumping into the Discord, we did get a few questions in, a little tardy, but we got them. Best player in a DKGPP, Noto. No, that's like your fourth question in a row. TJ, best player in a DKGPP between 6K and 6.5. So I assume this is util.
I would say another not great range, but I would go Khalil Ware.
Okay. And then your favorite 3.5 guy on a DKGPP, TJ, we're dumpster diving.
Marcus Smart.
Okay. Noto, back to you. FanDuel Cash. It's a 3v3. Matisse Thybulle, Larson, and Luka, or Trent, Sharp, and Bam.
Let's go. Man, I don't like my Thybulle or Trent that much. So it's kind of tough, but I'll go with the second trio.
Okay. See what else we've got. Larson or Walter, Noto?
Who's the second guy?
Walter. Is that Lindy Waters? Does he mean or no? Is there a Walter?
Jacoby Walter for Toronto.
Thank you.
I mean, cash games, Jacoby, and tournaments, I think Larson's kind of interesting.
Okay. Who's got the torpedo bat in the NBA tonight? We'll take that as a hypothetical, TJ. Who's the guy who's gonna take off and lift your team to the top?
Stephen Curry.
I kind of love that call. Let's see. TJ, your favorite cheapest center on FanDuel? Thank you.
Anybody but Wendell Carter. And then giving you an exact answer. For low ownership, I would say it's Orlando Robinson or Robinson or Adem Bona. So if you have the 5,600, go Bona. If you don't quite have that much, go Robinson.
Okay. Michael says it feels like a Coos game. Hammer says I played some Coos. Do either of you have any Coos?
Yeah, I don't ever play Coos, but could be.
Yeah.
No Coos.
No Coos over here. Let's see. FanDuel GPP Noto. You got to work for this one. Power forward less than 51 hundo.
On FanDuel?
Yeah. Yes. And by the way, Hammer's reasoning for playing Kuz is he can't suck all the time, which is kind of hilarious reason to play a guy. Can't suck
Back
all
in the
time.
early days of DFS, we do shows, and he's due would be like one of the more popular reasons to play a guy. I guess I'll go.
Michael Knack in chat saying it feels like a Kuzma game, but it's chasing to play Curry is a hilarious. It's a pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word I'm looking for here. Oxymoron.
Yeah. A little irony.
Well, irony. There it is. Thank you. We couldn't think of the word irony.
Yeah. It was 5,100 power forward Noto on FanDuel.
Luke Savage.
Nice. We have moments until the lock. We'll see if we've got any more QQs coming in. Thoughts on Anthony Gill? Gill.
No.
None for me.
All right. Thoughts on Draymond, Noto?
I think he's interesting. He's gonna, he's old, but he'll get up for this game, and Kuminga could be out.
Well, Luke Cage says DKGPP smart versus post last piece. Who the hell's post?
Quentin Post for Golden State. Smart though.
Smart. Okay. Very good. Javier says this Brooklyn guy at 3K, TJ, or smart?
Smart.
Okay. Very good. We still have a minute. If you have any questions, they can be about basketball. They can be TJ said about baseball. Please no. I'm already over. I'm very much enjoying not having to talk about baseball. They can be about dinner plans. That's about it. That's all I'm willing to discuss for the time being over the next 45 seconds.
I did see somewhere earlier in chat, Mario Donizzi asked how I'm attacking the 2-game slate tonight, and it's Nick Lodolo, Reds, and Diamondbacks is how I'm playing.
There you go. Will LeBron get funnel caked tonight? We are bringing in the baseball terminology. Noto, will LeBron get funnel caked? Which, to be clear, is a bad thing.
Okay, I was gonna say somebody's gotta fill me in on what that means.
If a pitcher gets funnel caked, he gets shelled.
Okay, I like it. So LeBron gets shelled.
He's doing the funnel caking tonight.
LeBron is going to do the funnel caking.
It sounds dirty.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah,
he's the funnel cakey, not the funnel cake. He's the funnel caker, not the funnel cakey tonight.
There it is. All right. Hey, with that, we've done all the things that we came here to do. We made it. So we're going to bounce on out of here. We're going to watch some sports. I'm going to watch some hoops. So for Noto, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been covered.